How's it, guys? Welcome back to the stream and happy new week to everyone that hasn't been here before. So basically on this channel, I'm Dylan and I'll be going over a few important charts to look out for within the week, and then obviously go over some news events that might be happening within the coming weeks or this week. So yeah, so let's get straight into it. I'm going to be going over, first of all, if we have any news, see what's happening if we have any news, and then I'll be going over all the current charts that I'll be looking at today. So yeah, it's going to be a good session because it does look like we are losing a bit of momentum, but yeah, we'll get into that just now. So looking over here, what you can see is price. Okay, so yesterday we had a bit of news at Flash Services, so that we got a bit of volume over there, but nothing too hectic. And then today we don't have much news, we just have crude oil inventories, and that's later. And then Thursday we have quite a big news. So Thursday is going to be quite a big day because we have GDP coming out, price index, core durable goods, and a lot more other stuff. You can see how big this day is. So yeah, so Thursday's been quite big, and then Friday also PCE price index. So the next 2 days, so tomorrow and Friday, are going to be quite hectic in terms of price change and volume in the market, right? So yeah, so let's just get straight into it. I'm going to start off with Bitcoin. I'll show you what my current thoughts are on Bitcoin at the moment. Okay. So when looking at Bitcoin let me go on the daily. I just want to show you some of these levels, right? So looking at Bitcoin like this, we can see that price has come up and broken this level over here, this previous range that we're finding resistance at. And now what can definitely happen is price is getting stuck at this level right here, this resistance zone over here, right? Okay, so what price can do is price can come down and retrace, because we haven't seen a retracement yet, right? So I will expect a retracement to the downside. I'm not too sure when that would happen, but it might happen within the next couple of days. But saying back down to around 21,400, because if we lose this recent daily low like we have now, you can see, let me go in the 4 hour, if we close below this area over here, then I'll be looking for sells back down to areas such as 21,400, right? Because if we get a candle to close below here, what it means is price is obviously tending to go down. So what we need to wait for is a candle to close below this area, and then when that happens, I'll be looking for sells back down to areas such as 21,400, because this area was our most recent resistance, right? And you can see price within this range closes actually moves a lot, right, and very quickly. So that's why I'll be targeting that zone for Bitcoin. So looking at this now, it is creating somewhat of a a bull flag in a way. Over here we do have a bit of some type of bull flag, so it could go either way, right? So we could see price either come up from here or go down, but that's why I'm just waiting for candles to close below and above certain areas. Okay, so if we get a candle to close below this zone on the 4 hour candle, then I'll be looking for sells, right? Because that would be, it would take out our most recent low, and when closing below an important range like this, you would see price come down further. So I'll be waiting for that, and then I'll go to Bitcoin just now on my other levels, but I'll show you. So basically these are the levels that I am looking at for Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, so I'm looking for sells below this area, below 22,500. So I'll be looking for sells below here back down to this zone, and then buys, I'll be looking for buys above this area over here. So let me just change that. So I'll be looking for bars above here, above 22,800, and sells below 22,500. Yeah, because you can see that price has been reacting at this level at 22,500. So what needs to happen is price must either break this level and then price comes down back to 22,300, or come back into this range over here and try get these bars coming up. But to be honest, I am more bearish in terms of short term. We have seen a lot of bearish volume within the last day or two. So I mean, when looking at the 4-hour, what you can see is price is definitely retracing a bit. So I do see maybe a retracement back down to the levels of what I was saying earlier was, yeah. Where's this chart? Yeah, so it would be to levels of 21,300, right? Because here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, so looking at this, you can see I was saying I was looking for sales below 22,500 area, and once we break below here, what can happen is price can come down to this next zone, because that was our previous resistance, right? So yeah, that could be a possibility. So if we get that next 4-hour candle close bearish below this zone, I'll be looking for sales back down to this imbalance, because you can see that price over here within this area, it's called imbalance, right? Because there's no buyers or sellers within this range. There's no resistance or support within this range. Price just, kind of falls off, so we have to be watching that. So that's why I'm looking for sales below that that area. The next target would be at 21,400. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. I'll go over Ethereum, and then I've got a lot of other coins to go over as well. So looking at Ethereum on the higher time frame, we obviously were in this area over here, and we actually broke this range, and then now we are currently in this uptrend. We are still bullish, on the higher time frame, because you can see in order for us to be bearish, what needs to happen is this candle needs to be broken, right? So once this candle gets broken to the downside, then we can definitely see more momentum to the downside. So that's obviously what I'm looking for Ethereum, because of the fact that we have kind of made a retracement and we are testing the support at this area. But if this support gets broken, then we can definitely see price coming down further to these areas, back testing the resistance at 1310. So just be aware of that. And obviously we have massive news tomorrow and Friday. Okay, so this could be a very volatile week in terms of price fluctuations, right? Because we have quite a bit of news. So yeah, for Ethereum, I'll show you my intraday targets for Ethereum. There we go. So originally I had, this was from yesterday, had sells below these two areas, and then I actually haven't charted. I'll do it quickly now. So what I would want to see is, let's see this area that we have here. Let me just zoom out. Yeah, so at the bottom here, you can see price is tapped into this area. And what does this area mean to you? Well, it means price is acting at a support. This is our support area, okay? So price, obviously reacts at this level. So we need to make sure that in order for us to look for sells within this range, we need to close below these levels, right? In order for us to look for sells. So at the moment, we obviously got this big volume to the downside. So I would also be looking for potential buys, right? So we have this level over here that I'm liking a lot. So you can see that price is tapping into these zones and getting rejected. But whenever we close above these zones, we tend to come up. We closed above here, and same with over here. So I could be potentially looking at buys above this area at 1558. Because at the moment, what is happening is price doesn't really know what it's doing. It's consolidating between this range, right? So in order for to get bars, you need it to break above this range at 1558. So I'll be looking for that. Yeah. And then also, if you guys want to put, if you want any charts, then definitely put them in the comments, and then I can definitely go over that and analyze a few charts that you have in mind. So I'm just going to highlight this area for bars. Okay, so I'm looking for bars above the zone. Okay, so bars above 1558, and that is what I'm looking for currently. And then obviously sells below this area over here. Okay, sells below, and I'll be targeting this area at 1521. Yeah, so that's the current situation for Ethereum. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that bars are valid above 1558, and then sells at 1533, right? Okay, awesome. I'm gonna go over a graph that I wanted to show that could be good potential in terms of the altcoins, right? So this graph over here is a graph that basically tells you sorry about that. Yeah, so this graph over here is a graph that tells you the total market cap of every single altcoin plus Ethereum, right? So this is the total crypto market cap of excluding Bitcoin, right? So it's everything but Bitcoin. So what this is happening, this is showing to me is that price has been consolidating in this range here. Okay, so we have 3 touches on this resistance over here. This is on the 3-day chart, so it's quite a big time frame, so just keep that in mind. We have 3 touches over here, and we're currently in the mid-range resistance / support. So in order for the altcoins to come up to higher levels and possibly gain another 24%, what we need to see happen is we need a break of this trend line, and then a closure above this wick to confirm that this will happen. So you need to keep a close eye on this, because this can show you when the altcoins are going to start moving up, and then that obviously plays into the same dynamic as this Bitcoin dominance chart. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart here, what can you see? Well, this is what I was saying, because Bitcoin is trading in this area, okay, was in terms of the dominance, and then obviously the altcoins are at a key level as well. So it's quite interesting when both the charts line up in terms of key levels. You'll see that there is going to be a shift within the next couple of days, so just keep in mind. So looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we have reclaimed the 44.18%, which is obviously why Bitcoin is moving a lot more than the altcoins. So what needs to happen for the altcoins to move down and up, it means in terms of a rally, this needs to come down and break below the zone. So this Bitcoin dominance needs to slow down a bit in terms of the other coins gaining more dominance and close below this area in order for obviously the altcoins to pop up, because what this shows you is that Bitcoin's claiming more dominance within the whole crypto market, whilst all the other altcoins are losing their dominance. So in order for them to obviously rally more and get more momentum, this needs to come down. So just be aware of that. And what I'm looking at here is obviously we have this level at the top here, which is where we were at 48%, and this is when Bitcoin was at 57,000. Over here Bitcoin was at 38,000. At 48%, Bitcoin was at 29,000. So yeah, you can just see it's kind of in a way like a trend. It's nice to just know where the price was actually at those levels. So yeah, So that's Bitcoin. I've done Ethereum. So just be aware of this, because this total market cap, excluding Bitcoin, would definitely give you an indication that price of the altcoins will start to rally, right? So just be aware of this chart, and once this breaks to the upside, we're going to see a lot of volume and momentum in terms of the altcoin market. So yeah, be aware of that. I'm going to go over a few coins now. So I'll be going over Dogecoin, Solana, APT, and a few more. And then obviously, if you guys have any coins that you would want me to go over, just put it in the comments, and I can definitely do that for you guys. So let's take a look at Dogecoin first. So Dogecoin, this is what I was wanting, right, for Dogecoin. Obviously it didn't pan out because I was waiting for a closure. So looking at this chart here, what we have, okay, I'm on the 3-day, so I'm going to go down a bit. We have, you know, this resistance line at this level, right? Okay. So I was waiting for, you know, obviously price to close above this area, because this is, whenever price closes above the zone, we tend to drive up to areas of higher levels, right? So once the liquidity gets taken out by, you know, obviously the buyers pushing up the price with a candle to close above this area, then I would be looking for a long. And I said that the daily candle would have to close in order for me to take a long, because I'm looking at this on a daily bias and a daily perspective, right? So you can see that what needs to happen is we just need to get a closure above this area. So take note of this, because if this would were to happen, obviously we would start finding some resistance at these levels, but overall this would be the price target, and it's around about 20%. So what technically just needs to happen is price needs to close above this zone. So yeah, Dogecoin, obviously once we break this low over here, we could look at potential sells as well, because anywhere below this zone, we tend to drive down, right? So we close below this area over here, close below over here. So this area provides significant support. So what needs to happen, obviously, is price needs to close below here in order for us to look for sells back down to levels such as these ones here, right? Okay. So once we get a daily closure, or let's look at the 4-hour. Yeah, even a 4-hour closure. If we get a 4-hour closure below this area, I'll be looking for potential sells for Dogecoin as well. So yeah, I'll definitely go through H bar. Is it going down from the current market price? Sure, I'll go over that after this. So yeah, Dogecoin potential sells back down to areas. Sorry, yeah, that's the one. Areas such as here. And obviously the top bias, basically this one is on the daily time frame, whereas this this one at the bottom is on a 4-hour time frame. So just be aware, and those are the levels that you must look at. Yeah, sure, I'll go over H bar quickly. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so looking on the daily time frame, yeah, what are we having? Well, we had a bullish closure yesterday, and now we're currently turning bearish, right? So, and where are we approaching? Well, we're approaching levels of significant support and resistance over here. Okay, so this zone has a tendency to bounce. Okay, we tend to bounce from the zone before we start pushing down. So what needs to happen is price needs to close just above this area. If it closes like this right now, then we can possibly might see a bottom wick come down and then come back up. But if we see this candle close bearish below the zone, we're definitely going to see price come down to full areas of support around about here. Okay, but let's just look at the smaller time frame. I'll go back to the figures for Dogecoin after this. Sure, sorry. Yeah, so looking at the smaller time frame, yeah, it is looking like price might come down. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this down just to the most recent support, and what is happening is we are finding some bearish momentum here. So we closed bearish. We didn't break the highs and close above the high. We closed below, and what is happening? Price is coming down, right? So in order for H bar to go up, we need to see a bounce from this resistance. I mean the support. So what needs to happen is this next candle closes above the zone, and then we see a bounce. But if H bar closes below the zone, below 0.063124 on the 4 hour, I'll be looking for sells below here. So I'll be looking for sells, but what needs to happen is the price needs to close below this area. And if we get a closure below there, then I'll be looking for sells, and take profit would be at around about 0.5685. Okay, so it's quite a big move, to be honest. So you can obviously just take partials if it goes down, but yeah, it is looking quite bearish because there's been two. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for, because you can see whenever price closes below here, we tend to drive down to these levels. Yeah, so that is currently the situation for H bar. Obviously, if you're in a long position now, just what you need to do is just manage risk, because what can happen, price can close bearish here and we can carry on going down. So just be aware of that. So yeah, sells below there. Let's go back to Dogecoin. Sure. So Dogecoin, here are the levels. So it's buys above 0.08988 and sells below 0.07995. Okay, I'll leave it up just for a second. But what you can do, you can pause the video, and obviously you can just copy the levels. So yeah, those are the levels. And yeah, so let's take a look at this coin. This is what I had earlier. Yeah, I actually took a trade for this earlier because we broke above this area. Okay, so what I was looking for is a 1 hour candle closure above this area, because anywhere in this zone nothing's been happening. Okay, so when nothing happens in a zone, well, obviously there's a lot happening in the zone, but there's no real direction. Obviously here, what I was waiting for candle to close bullish above the zone, and that's obviously why price is coming up. Okay, so just keep an eye on this coin, because it does move a lot more than all the other coins. And what I'll be looking for is bars above this area at 1426. Yeah, this move it's a 2.5% move, and then to the top it's around about a 5% move. So yeah, just take note of these levels here. But yeah, if we break above 1426, this could be, or it could ride quite hard, because when looking at how when it came out, it hasn't ever closed above this level, right? It's never closed above this level. So this is pretty much the highest it's been, well, in the most recent days. In a way, it's because obviously when it first came out, it went to around about 100, yeah, pretty much 100. Okay, but it never closed above those levels. So once we get a closure above here, what's going to happen is price is going to just start forming new market structure, and then you would have to start drawing levels on smaller time frames to get your areas, right? So yeah, but if we break above here, we might rally further. But what might happen is, because price is rejected off here so many times, we might just tap into this level and get a rejection and come back down. That can definitely happen as well. So just be aware of APT and these levels. But yeah, bars were valid above here, and then obviously bars are valid above 1426.95. I mean 14.26. Yeah, so what other coins should I go over? Litecoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Yeah, I'm not too sure when I did this, but it looks like it's valid. Yeah, so Litecoin, what I'm looking for here would be sells definitely below this zone here at the bottom. It is quite a far zone, but I'm trying to just see now if potentially we could look for sells here, and I think we can. So what I'm looking for here is, yeah, I'll go over Solana as well. I was actually gonna go over that. Yeah, so I'm looking for sells actually below 86.89, right? So sells are valid below here. Sells below. Make that to the bottom. Okay. And the reason why I'm looking for sells below here is because on the 4-hour time frame, whenever we close bearish, so I'm going to show you the reasons why I'm looking for this closure. So over here, the amount of times that prices tapped into these areas, even over here and over here, when we're on the obviously the resistance side of things, but now we obviously created support. It's been tapping into these areas, right? And whenever we close above the zone, we tend to just get a rejection, right? But whenever we close below, like over here, what happened? We created a wick, filled this range, and then came back up. Same with over here, closed below, filled this range, came down even lower, and then came back up. So looking for sells below here, definitely. So just keep an eye on that. 86.89. What we need is a 4-hour candle close. So I'll go over Ethereum after I've done Solana, sure. I did go through it a bit earlier, but I'll definitely go over it again. So yeah, looking for sells back down to 83. Obviously, this could it is on the 4-hour time frame, so it's a bit obviously on a longer one. So like looking for a 1-hour closure, what you would have to do is bring this down to these candle closures, and then wait for that to happen, because our higher time frame is bearish, right? So when looking left here, we can also see that we tend to drive down whenever we close below on the 1-hour. So you can take profit levels at around about these areas, obviously whatever suits you best. So obviously don't have a set TP at 83, but that's just the area you're targeting, right? Yeah, so that could be good. Then what do we go over? Solana. Yeah, Solana was a good one. I actually went over this yesterday, last night. And Solana is obviously it was in such a nice range yesterday, and what I was looking for was this area to get broken, right? So the whole day we were trading in this range, and once this got broken to the downside, I knew. So on lower time frames, you'll see that I had my levels. Let me just go back. So I had my levels at 24.17, right? And the reason why I had my level here, is because price is rejecting off the support zone, right? So whenever price rejects off the support zone, we tend to just go up, right? But whenever we close below the zone, we tend to drive down. And when we close below, I think this would have been a good position to take down to levels such as where they are now. Yeah, so at the moment, what I'm seeing is Solana is obviously, it broke out of its its main structure, and we have a new support level that is made, obviously, right from today. Okay, so this would be our new support level at 22.52, and what needs to happen here is I would only be looking for sells if we close below this area, because we have all this range down here to fill. Okay, so we need to close bearish below here. So this just could be some small retracement, right? It could be just some small move up, come down, close below, and then, you know, get some more movement down. And that's what I'll be looking for Solana. It would only be below 22.52 though, because this is our support level. So in order for me to be confident that it can go lower, we need to break that level, right? So sells, there we go. Sells below here at 22.52, and possible bars above here again, right? Because if we start to regain this resistance again, so what needs to happen is what I would like to see happen for bars. We need to come up here, get rejected, start consolidating on here, and then break out, right? That would be the most ideal way. But if we get a rejection and just come down, then obviously I'll buy. You wouldn't want to buy there. But what needs to happen is a candle needs to close above here in order for me to look for bars. So we can definitely put that there though, and put that known at 23.7. We can look for bars, and that would be on the 1 hour time frame. Let me just go down to the 30-minute quickly. 30 minutes, yeah, a 30-minute candle closure would be okay as well. Yeah, so bars above 23.7. Yeah, put your coins in the comments and I'll go over them. So yeah, this is Solana, and yeah, obviously this range is a bit, we don't know what's happening, but if we break this hard, it can definitely push up and, you know, close above this area. So just be aware of that. Let's go over Ethereum again, right? Yeah, so Ethereum also relatively simple, yeah. I went over it. I'm not going to explain it again, but basically just looking for bars above 158.36 to come back into this level. Okay, and I'm looking for sells below the zone at 153, coming back down to this next support. Because what's obviously happening now, we back into this range, and you can see price trades in this range for quite a while, right? So in order for us to look for bars, what needs to happen? Well, we need to break the range, right? We need to do what we did over here, where price just carried on coming up. Broke it over here, we came up. Broke it over here, we came up. So bars are definitely valid above 1558.36. So put that on your chart. I'll definitely be looking for bars above there 100%, and then sells would be at 1532, right? Yeah. Because looking on the 1 hour here, just take a look at this and see why we're looking for this. Well, we would, if we get a candle to close above this area, we're going to see that this previous high was taken out, so that provides more liquidity to the upside. Plus, we're closing above these areas over here. So these zones over here are important. So once we close bullish above this zone, we can take the bars to 1595, right? So yeah, just be aware of that. And then obviously, if you weren't here from the beginning, we're talking about the market cap of the total market cap, pretty much, of all the altcoins except Bitcoin, right? So it's pretty much just all the altcoins. And what this shows you is prices on the verge of either breaking out or losing steam. So we just need to keep aware of this, because if this level gets broken, then the altcoins can definitely rally a lot higher. And if we get a rejection, then, you know, obviously Bitcoin's dominance will start going up, and we've spoken about that earlier as well, because it is currently in a very valid uptrend, And yeah, so just be aware of the altcoins might be losing a bit more steam before they actually start the pump yet, because we haven't seen that massive altcoin pump. We've seen a massive Bitcoin pump because the dominance is so high. So we still waiting for that to come. So be aware of that. Oh yeah, this was also quite interesting to look at, because I was talking about this level right here. Okay, what's happening? Yeah. So I was talking about this level at 7.89, okay? And I said if price breaks this level, crypto will rally, right? And once we broke the zone on the 12th, what's it? The 12th of Jan, right? So let's just go to Bitcoin on the 12th of Jan. Right, it was over here. So when the USDT dominance lost its steam, crypto rallied around about 30%, right? So taking a look at USDT dominance is very important, because what it shows you is the opposite of what's happening in the market, right? So we lost this very, very important resistance zone, and what that meant was once we close below here, we're going to come down and test these lows over here, right? And that's obviously why crypto rallied so hard, with putting it into a combination of things, obviously. But yeah, just always take a look at these levels, because it gives you indication, another confluence in terms of what you're looking at in the charts. If there's carry on putting charts. If there's any other charts to go over, I will do that. But if there's nothing else to go over, then I will speak about all the charts that I've been through, and then obviously take off. But yeah, this is Bitcoin currently. Also looking for sells below 22,532. Definitely. So we're obviously bearish, right? We're bearish on a higher time frame. So on the 4-hour, we bearish. On the daily, we close bearish, right? Yesterday we closed bearish. And what's quite important to note here on the daily is that these lows were broken, right? We've already broken those lows. So what was happening now? The price just created a top wick, and we could come down lower. So just be aware of that. We could be seeing some sort of retracement within the next couple of days and hours. But yeah, so sells would be valid because higher time frame bearish. Looking into smaller time frames, we are bearish, but we are in this kind of range, right? We broke the low over here, so we might be just making some sort of retracement down. So sells below 22,532.3. So be sure to lock that in, and you could be looking at 22,373. Yeah, so it's like a 0.7%, which is obviously leverage, right? Ethereum also here, buys are valid above 1558, sells are valid below 1533. So when I say they're valid below, I mean I want a 1 hour candle to close bearish below here or bullish above here. So just be aware of that. When you draw these levels, just look at the time frame that these levels line up with, and what you would want a candle to either close bearish below that zone or bullish above that zone. So yeah, when you put these levels in, just be aware of you looking for a certain higher time frame closure. Obviously, if I get a 5-minute candle closure, I wouldn't want that. I would want a 1 hour candle closure, because that matches up with the analysis that we have out here. So just be aware of that. Yeah, any other coins? I did go over Dogecoin. Yeah, sells below 0.0795 and buys above 0.0898. So that's Dogecoin. Litecoin, I think I went over. Yeah, Litecoin Sells are definitely valid below 86.73, back down to 83.3. So just be aware of that. The market is looking bearish there, and obviously we have very big news tomorrow. GDP and obviously PCE on Friday. So be aware of that tomorrow and Friday. Yeah, APT. Yeah. So obviously the break-even point where I put over here would be there. So that's when you put your stop loss to break even. You always must try to do that. If you're in profit and you're happy with your profit and you want to ride to a certain level, just put your stop loss to break even and then make it a risk-free trade, right? So yeah, obviously this has already pretty much filled the range. What I'll be looking for here is, let's take a look at the 4 hour, see what's happening. 4 hours is closing in yeah, it's closing in 19 minutes. So if it closes bullish like this, we can definitely see price still come up to these levels. So be aware of that. Price can carry on coming up to levels. Oh, it was Solana went over. Solana, yeah. So Solana, I'm looking for sells below 22.52. Back down to 20.8. And then bars above 23.7. Looking for 1 hour candle closures, so be aware of that. Yeah. If there's any other coins to go over, just put it in the chat and I can do that. Also, just looking at the Fear and Green Index, I want to show you something here that is quite interesting in terms of a long-term perspective, right? So you can also look at this as a chart. So obviously when the fear is, obviously very low, it means that obviously a lot of people are fearful in the market. And obviously right now we're at neutral at 51. But looking at this chart, you can see that price has been making lower highs and lower lows pretty much as like a normal chart. And what has happened now, we actually broke this previous high and this previous high over here. So be aware of, we definitely can go higher for Bitcoin. But on the shorter time frame, I do feel we might be a bit more bearish. Just looking at the charts. But obviously weekly time frame I am turning a bit bullish, but what needs to happen is, well, let's take a look at it quickly and then I'll log off. But what needs to happen is price needs to break this 25,000 zone, right? Once we break above here, we're definitely going to hit that 30k. And yeah, I do think that a lot of people are regretting not buying from here because we don't know if it's going to carry on make new lows. But if we break these important levels, I do think that might have been the bottom. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, the next target would be at the 25,000, and once we break that target, we can look for higher levels. But yeah, thanks so much for joining today. I really appreciate everyone being here, and I hope you guys learned something. And yeah, see you guys on Friday, where I'll be going over some different, obviously different levels, because it will be a new trading day, and obviously more charts. And then if there's news, obviously on Friday there's big news. We have PCE, and then remember tomorrow we have GDP. So just be aware of that when you're trading, and go into Forex Factory as it does help a lot. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and see you guys on Friday.